Okay, welcome everybody. We're moving into another edition of the E3LC Book of the Month Club, and I wanted to welcome, and we're kind of in midstream here. We're at week 3 of a book. As you can see, I'm going to stop sharing so you can see less of that, more of me. Hi. So I've got a couple of things to say. Where as I'm recording this, this is near the end of the calendar year for me, and let's see if I can get things to be not so weird for you. Okay, well, guess not. Anyway, um, so anyway, we're E3LC, right? So we're working on books that actually help make things better for people, myself included, right? So I've been reading books like this for my adult life. I just have found it helpful. I found it more fulfilling to think about how to be better, how to work to be a better person all the time, and going through that process of what does that mean? What do I do? How do I make my life a better me, so to speak, right? So the book we're doing this month, right, is it's the third part in the series that I do. So E3LC, the E3 thing is my overarching idea of there's three E's in trying to figure out how to be a better leader, how to be a better person, how to live a more fulfilled life. And those three E's are effective with people, encouraging with effective with people, efficient with things, and encouraging with myself. Sorry, I was thinking about this month because we're in encouraging with myself right now, and that's the book we're working on right now, which is How to Turbocharge You by Larry Dennis. So we got through the first 6 chapters, and now we're going to do some strategies. He actually has 14 strategies in the book, and we're doing the first half of those, so 1 through 7, and we're just going to talk briefly about them and share any insights I had for me or thoughts to add if there were any. I think in general, Larry lays out a great book, like most people do that do this kind of thing. It's well thought out. There's a structure to it for sure. There's a stream of thought. There's a thread of thought that goes through everything, and that's true with even these. So these strategies, they're shorter chapters, and they're just ideas about, okay, well, how do you be turbocharged, right? How do you make a better life for yourself? All right, so strategy number 1 is excellence today. So a lot of people talk about excellence. I think a lot about excellence most of the time. I don't live up to my ideals all the time, but I'm constantly reminding myself of what those ideals are and striving to reach those ideals. And because I'm human, I fail. But also because I'm human, I can learn from those failures. And I took too long early in my life when I was a child and early adult to not learn from my failures, to put it simply, in the context of what I'm saying, to dwell on them and see and prove to myself like that I couldn't be more because of those failures. What I didn't realize was everybody goes through failures and they learn, and that's how they become successful. I didn't get that. I didn't have that kind of thought. I didn't think that that was true back then. I didn't have someone in my life to tell me that was true. You know, I had people around me that were struggling and trying to do the best they could, like almost everyone I think is doing, and didn't recognize that that's what I needed. And I didn't know. I didn't know to ask. I didn't even know what was going on. So my point being is excellence isn't something you just have. It's a habit you form, right? And that comes from ancient Greek philosopher, that excellence is not an act, but a habit. So it's all about what you do day to day to day. So what he says is, well, how do you create excellence then? And in a nutshell, he says desire success. So you start thinking about what makes success for you and make that a burning desire. And he talks about the story. His version is an ancient um, Chinese philosopher is walking with a student, and the student says, "Tell me, you know, about success. How do I get success in life?" And so um, his version of the story goes, "Well, come walk with me." So they take a walk. They're going through the countryside, and they're going through nice area, and they come upon a pond, a fairly big pond, and lake, whatever, right? And they say, "Okay, let's go." I mean, let's go. So the teacher starts walking, and they walk out into the pond, and student is wondering why, but he's the teacher. The teacher is all knowing, so I'll follow the teacher. Okay, great. So he starts walking in the pond, and they keep going, and pretty soon they're getting to be, are we gonna stop? Because I'm running out of room to breathe here. So the teacher says, keep going. All right, we're gonna keep going. So they get to a certain point. He says, teacher, I can't go on. He goes, oh, okay, great. Here, let me help you. So he helps the student and pushes him underwater. And the student is just, startled and what is going on? This is my teacher. He's supposed to help me. And what is he doing? Right. And holds him down underwater. And he's just, he begins to panic and starts to struggle a bit. And yet the teacher's holding him under. And he becomes a panic. And like now he's frantic. He can't breathe. What is he going to do? Like, what is going on? So he's freaking out. He feels like, this is it. I'm done. I guess I'm finding out the meaning this way. This is crazy. And then finally, at the very last moment, when the student thinks, I I I'm about to give up, teacher pulls him out. Right? Oh, comes out. Oh, what's going on? He goes, what did you want the most at that? When you were there? What did you want the most? I wanted air. He said, yeah, that's exactly right. When you want success as much as you wanted that air, you will have it. That's a very dramatic story about desire, right? When you need something so bad that it's your entire existence hinges on it, you will have it. And I have to tell you, there are some things in my life that are going very well, and there are some things that are not, because life is messy. I choose to be happy with my life because I chose my life, so to speak. Right? Once I got going, right? Once I kind of got myself into a place where I could think straight, I'm choosing. I've chosen everything. So if I want to look at somebody to blame, look in the mirror, right? But point being, what that point of like desire, having that much desire, I'm talking to myself, and I hope it resonates with people that are watching this. I really do, because I think there's more power in that. Just that strategy, part of that strategy alone, I think is worth the entire book. If you really let that settle in, right? Most people don't. Most people hear that and they say, "Oh yeah, yeah, I no, I really do." I have. I'm guilty of the same thing. I don't think I've really taken that down to my soul yet on certain things. Certain things I have in my life. There's been things I have, and then there's been others that I say I have. I say I want to. So, there's more to learn there. Anyway, so then the thing I want to add into that is he didn't really say this. He hinted at, I think, is that not only do you want to desire success, but study it. Find someone who has done what you want to do and do what they did. Ask them questions, befriend them, take them to lunch, try to figure out, pick their brain, all that kind of stuff, right? Or find, and that's kind of a mentor idea, which is nothing wrong with being a mentor because they have been where you want to go. They can tell you, watch these pitfalls, do this, this worked great. Don't do that. That really was a big pitfall and you can avoid it. Here's how, right? And then the last thing he just talks about is just work. If you're gonna have excellence tomorrow, you got to work for it. It doesn't. Again, it doesn't just happen. You have to work at that. That's the thing. Okay, so that's tip or strategy. Sorry, strategy number one is excellent state. Strategy number two is imagineering, and notwithstanding making up new words, it's a good way to say that if you want to turbocharge your existence, your life, your whatever, your goals, you have to see the end result before it's going to happen. And as I read this chapter um, recently, again, I realized that I do it. And then when I have actually delved into visualization and really done something about what he talks about soon here, it, it did pay off. And I've made excuses about that, and I'll get to that in a later strategy. But seeing the end result is really important. Now, the other part of visualization, which a lot of people overlook, I know I have, and I see people overlook it a lot, is you have to visualize yourself as the person who can get that done or that has gotten it done, right? Sort of you're looking at yourself you're kind of looking in the future back on yourself having accomplished what you want to accomplish in the future from now. Okay, that was really confusing. Sorry. Anyway, but seeing yourself as the confident person that's able to do it, someone who's going to handle all the challenges and learn and grow and change to be better so they can handle things better and move forward, right? Which gets into the second point. So, just visualizing yourself is a lot of it too. It's not just visualizing things or events, but who are you going to be, right? So I think that's important too. And then that really gets into which he brings up self-image, right? And he doesn't go heavy like some books do, which is fine because there are other books, right? But he just says one point I think is fairly poignant, and that is that everybody has one, right? Everybody has a self-image. Sometimes that self-image is debilitating. Sometimes that self-image is not helpful. Sometimes that self-image is encouraging, and sometimes it's a source of power and satisfaction. So creating that self-image is not a chance happening. It can be a chance happening. It was for me when I was younger, and that's why I was having so much difficulty. Whether I was letting the power of that be be not directed, be undirected. So there was no there was no path. So therefore, I could just do whatever, right? Didn't help a lot. Didn't really get me going in the right direction all the time. So he says, look, you have one, but the point, and here's the real important one, you can change it. It's not cemented in. It's something you can change. And I read another book about the subconscious mind that completely also speaks the same thing. It goes heavy, heavy, heavy into it. But you can change your self-image. And I know for me, I did. I certainly have. Man, and it's been even in the last 5 years, it's changed quite dramatically, and it's all internal. And that a lot of people wouldn't even know. I would imagine that know me, that are friends of mine, that they probably wouldn't even know that I think differently about myself now. Anyway, which it hints at this, not really, but it kind of gets to this. And the last part of his strategy is to make an image book, an image of the things you want, places you want to go, who do you want to be, and make a book. Get pictures out of magazines and print them off the internet, whatever, right? Get pictures and get them in a physical place you can look at and review. And this is where I was speaking of earlier, that I've done this before, and I noticed that when I have done it, it, it works. I sound surprised there, but it works. It may not work in the exact timeline that I was hoping for, but without it, it doesn't work. Because I have, in the last 2 years, there's been certain things about having certain things. It doesn't matter about the details. One year, I made pictures and I looked at it regularly. And another year, I didn't. I wrote it down, but I didn't, and I got pictures, but I didn't look at it as regularly. Not very often at all. And it didn't happen. Interesting. So that's anecdotal, but it's good evidence for me. And I think it's worth conveying that it's not just somebody saying that. I think it's true, and it's true for people. I don't think it's just a me thing either. So then he gets into how to use the image book. I'm not going to go any much further because that's fine. We got some more strategies to get to, but read the book, right? So read the book, find out how to use an image book more powerfully. Third strategy, self-talk, which sounds a lot like self-image, but self-image is the way you see yourself. Here's a really simple way to think. Self-image is the way you see yourself. Self-talk is the way you talk to yourself. One can affect the other. Both can affect each other, right? One, it can affect either way, but the self-talk certainly does affect self-image. So he asked this question right at the beginning: are you an architect? When you talk to yourself, the way you speak, are you an architect or demologist? Like a demolition person. Are you building or are you tearing down? That's sort of his point. So that's that question. That is a question to ask yourself. And another way to do it, and I've read this a number of times, uh, if you talked to your friends the way you talk to yourself, how many friends would you really have? Good question. Now, for some people seeing this, they would say, I'd probably have more friends, right? But most of us, I don't know if that would be true. I don't know. Everything that I've seen and heard and read points to that most people would not get more friends if they talk to people the way they talk to themselves. Which begs the question, why are you doing that? I think that's all about. I don't have an answer because I don't know you, but that's a question worth that question is worth answering for yourself. So, which gets into his kind of a point inside of the strategy is to word watch. Just begin to notice what you are saying to yourself. A lot of people don't even know there's this constant dialogue going on in your brain, and a lot of times it's not helpful, right? So start watching it. Start making, make I wouldn't say a list, but maybe some people like to journal, right? So maybe a journal might be a place to, hey, I noticed I've used this phrase quite a bit today. Wonder what that's going on there, right? You don't have to psychoanalyze yourself. It's more just noticing. And then if you notice a pattern, maybe there's something that's going on that's causing that thinking or that speaking to yourself that way, right? There's something behind it. It's not just happening. It's not random. It's not just randomly electrical impulses happening. Stuff is going on that your brain is trying to process. And we could go heavy into that whole thing, but that's not the point of tonight. Another day maybe, another video. Join in. We could delve into that if you want. Anyway, join me live sometime. Okay. So um so watch your words. Which then he says, okay, well, if you're gonna watch your words, how about we start thinking about speaking positively to ourselves? He says, give yourself a pep talk. Do a self pep talk.
Okay, here we go. All right, so something happened with the old microphone again. All right, so something's going on with my battery with this thing. So I apologize. We're going to have to go with the old computer deal. And so let's see, what was I saying? So sell pep talks, right? So there are pep talks given in sports situations. There's pep talk given in sales meetings. There's pep talks given in business meetings all the time, manager meetings, that kind of thing, right? So it's a good idea to give yourself a pep talk. Why not? Okay, it sounds a little weird at first, but um, is it going to hurt anything? Right? I don't think so. I don't think it would hurt anything at all. Have I done it a ton recently? I have, but you know, it's okay. So so anyway, so there's that. Give yourself a pep talk. Practice doing that. It's worth doing, etc. All right.